Alright, so welcome back to the garage. Back on the ST90 engine here. So I've got my gasket set in from the States, and it looks like it's going to work. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't, apart from having to open up the holes around the dowel pins a little bit. So ST90 gasket sets are hard to find. This is from a later S90. The supplier doesn't say it'll work. It looks like it will. The only difference I can think of is maybe it's shaped differently around the gearbox to accommodate 3-speed. Since I have the 4-speed, it seems to work. So I am just going to roll with it. So when you put on this little star wheel, there's one hole, you can see it right there. It's going to line up with one raised pin in the shift drum. Like that. I wonder if I should have put the shifter components in before. I guess we'll find out. Will we have enough room to slide her in there? Nope. Detent arm's gonna have to come off. Yeah, so just as a side note, this is the 90cc primary gear for the transmission. This is the one from the 110. This will physically go over the 4-speed transmission, but these slots for these splines are too large and there's quite a bit of slop. So I'm going to have to use this gear, and they appear to be the same tooth count, so I shouldn't have to change clutch centers. I just went and grabbed the ST90 clutch, the one that came on this motor originally out of the box. I'm just looking at it. You can see in there, that little lip, that's all old clutch material. That's a lot of clutch material there. I'll check the 110 clutch. It's a little dirty from the box, but that's nice shiny aluminum, no clutch material built up in there. So I think the crank splines are different. So I either have to swap plates or I have to swap clutch centers. And actually, you know what? Looking at this 110 clutch, there's a lot of discoloration on those steel plates. See, those ones are nice and clean. This is the 90, this is the 110. So I think it's worth taking these clutches apart and see what the hell's going on. Just starting on the 90 clutch here. That steel looks good. This clutch is stuck to the steel underneath it, just from oil. That almost looks new, and with how clean it is, this clutch may have been rebuilt before I got my hands on it. Another one looks good. It's got clean oil in it. Gonna leave that one off to the side because it had springs. Yeah, all these frictions look nice and clean. The steels aren't discolored. I think this is an okay clutch. We'll clean out all that friction material that's built up where the spinner is. Springs, friction, steel, friction, steel, and snap ring. It locks up that way, spins freely that way. Lock up, spin. Lock up, spin. Scrape out some of this clutch material. Show that lock washer bent over there. Now we can throw the oil spinner back on. I do believe that's everything under here. So I was about to grab the 110cc cover and throw it on, just because it was a little cleaner than the 90cc cover, but the kickstart shaft hole is a larger diameter on the 110 than it is on the 90, so I have to use it. And I have a new kickstart seal to go in this case. And I just gave this case a wipe with a rag and some brake clean. Get some of the heavier grease off of it. Alright, so it's the next day. I'm back in the shop working on the bottom end for this ST90. You can see I've just kind of put the oil pump drive and the timing chain back in loosely. And getting ready to put the flywheel on here, so I'll set you up in the stand and we'll go through putting up the finishing up the bottom end and putting the jug back on. I'm getting ready to put the top end on here. I'm not going crazy, I'm just using the old piston, the old rings. Didn't get the bore honed or anything, because I do at some point in the near future plan to put a 54mm piston in this thing. So for now I'm just going to use the old bore, the old cylinder, the old rings. I've got it in the bore enough to have the rings started to compress, and I've got the pin out on the side I'm going to be working. So I should be able to put the rod in, slide the pin in, put the clip in, and then squish everything down without forgetting about the timing chain. So sorry if my hands got in the way there, it's a bit of a tight squeeze, but I've got the piston locked on the con rod now. Now I get to put this pin in. It looks like that's in there. Can't get enough timing chain to pull it out the top. I've just got enough timing chain, I'm going to slide a screwdriver through there. See, I've got my screwdriver slid through the chain to keep it from falling down in the way. So I should be able to slide the jug down. Right on. Timing chain idler. Just slot that in like that. Drop it into the case as you do. If I can't fish that out. Crisis averted. Line up the hole and the bolt with the little sealing washer. Get her started there. Click. So I was about to grab the cylinder head and put it on when I remembered that the spark plug hole is completely stripped. And this thing is gross and greasy as hell. So I'll take it to work. I'm going to clean it up. Probably going to end up tapping that plug hole out to M12. So that's going to be all for this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.